Great speeches, everyone. Happy Pride. Happy Pride. I'm so happy to be here in the West Village, which was the start of the queer liberation movement here with the Stonewall riots. And then later, the West Village here was one of the main hubs for the ACT UP movement, which was a huge progressive force during the Reagan administration, which, we're talking about imperialism. We're going to get to it. And I just wanted to note also what happened this week with the mayoral election. We're going to see a lot of bigotry coming out with this. We're going to see a lot of racism, a lot of homophobia, and then this new kind of inverted homophobia. People are already telling me, you're gay and you support the Muslim socialist mayor of New York City. Like, he's gonna execute you, right? And I'm just like, what? Do you hate me or love me? I can't tell what's really going on here. But it's coming. It's getting very stupid very quickly, and we need to get very smart very quickly, guys. So if you don't know me, I'm Dante Muñoz, and I make educational videos online about history and politics. I want to start off by talking about it wasn't any foreign regime that killed 100,000 queer Americans here in the United States. It was Ronald Reagan. You heard that, right? 100,000 gay and bisexual men and unreported transgender people were killed in the United States under President Ronald Reagan's term. Shame. There were people walking these streets who disappeared from that, and they suffered in hospitals because of the same man who was waging imperialist wars abroad, and it's not a coincidence. He had to ignore the AIDS epidemic during the first 4 years of his presidency while our community died because he needed to keep the American people divided while he waged those wars and backed genocides abroad. He needed support from his homophobic religious base because he was taking their money. Fuck them, yeah. So now, as Trump and many establishment Democrats escalate our war-strained country to promote even more new wars, we have to maintain our focus on our real enemies. As they tell us, our enemies are in Palestine, our enemies are in Syria, in Lebanon, in Iran, in Cuba, in China, or in Russia. It's a controversial take here in the United States, but peace is good. If these places have issues, that's for them to figure out. It is not the United States' job because historically, when you look at it, every single time our country convinces us to support a war somewhere, they might have a valid reason here, a valid reason there, they're really going through something right now. Our war makes it 1,000 times worse. They tell us that these barbarians in the Middle East want to throw us off rooftops for being gay. They tell us that these authoritarian regimes want to silence and imprison the LGBTQ community for speaking out, something our own government did just a few decades ago, by the way. We have to firmly denounce war, denounce bombing civilians as the solution to social progress. Even if these claims that justify their wars are 100% true, which, let's do some fact checking. I got gay friends in the West Bank who never saw any homos flying off rooftops. And I just got back from the giant gay clubs in Chongqing, China that were packed to the brim. We got some Chongqing fans here. We got some China fans. Listen, everybody, it's not my script. Everyone go to the gay clubs in China. So much fun. It's so lit. Also, I've been to the state-owned gay clubs in Havana. Also very fun. We don't need to liberate our gay communities, our brothers and sisters and non-binary siblings around the world. We need to go make friends with them. We need to hear their stories, hear their concerns, hear their struggles. We're not the ones who are going to liberate them. They will liberate themselves. So, Americans, let's try something new. Yeah. Let's have a moment of self-reflection. We're having major setbacks with our own LGBTQ movement here at home as we speak, right? So does that mean that Mexico should bomb us? Like, really? Presidenta Claudia Sheinbaum, strike when ready. We've got homophobic bigots running this country. Does that make any sense? No! That's what they're telling us to support in these places when they point out, oh, Iran is so homophobic. Oh, China, they really don't like gay people there. What good is war gonna do for that? I don't get it. But think about it. Let's self-reflect. If that was happening here, do you know how much harder the gay rights movement would be if we had martial law going on? This doesn't make any sense. Like, imagine how stupid the Trump tweets could get. I am exhausted by this already. I do not need more war. The peace movement, you know, it needs to combine with the queer liberation movement. But we don't need the peace movement to get any harder. So we have to focus on the people who actually threaten our rights and our lives. The American conservative movement. At home, those are who threaten us. It's the pro-evangelical Christian, the anti-gay, the anti-trans, anti-woman, anti-black, anti-immigrant, anti-everybody who isn't a straight white man because they need somebody to blame. Because their policies suck that much. They need a scapegoat. They're gonna blame everybody under the sun before they blame capitalism. Grocery prices go up as the corporations get rich, and they tell everybody to hate trans people. Wow. It's because of some high schoolers who want to play sports, guys. That's why you should really be upset about this country. Okay. So again, let's focus. It was Ronald Reagan who killed 100,000 Americans during his presidency. Thousands of New Yorkers, thousands of queer New Yorkers died under the Ronald Reagan presidency. It was not a socialist Muslim mayor of New York City. There's never been a socialist Muslim mayor of New York City who's killed a single gay person. It was Ronald Reagan, okay? The ultimate conservative, pro-war, pro-capitalism president killed gay people. Let's focus on that. And now, let's look at how this was tied to imperialism abroad. During the Cold War, Ronald Reagan backed regimes and forces responsible for mass atrocities, including the genocide in Guatemala. Over 200,000 civilians killed for a capitalist corporation's profits, including, those were mostly indigenous people, by the way. And he backed also El Salvador's junta and death squads that killed 75,000 people. He backed Nicaragua's Contras, tens of thousands of Nicaraguans killed and tortured. He also backed Saddam Hussein's Iraq, where they killed 180,000 Kurds and used chemical weapons on Iran. And now get this, he backed the Mujahideen in Afghanistan, which escalated that war so unnecessarily, so tragically, killing over 1 million people in Afghanistan. And we look at where that's come today, how much they're still struggling, how much they're still suffering from all that destabilization. And they don't like to point out that it was the same man who was responsible for killing gay people here at home who funded that group, the Mujahideen, whose members went on to found the Taliban. And then they tell us, oh, gay people, you should be afraid of the Taliban. Are you fucking kidding me? I don't trust them. I don't trust them. So, last but not least, Ronald Reagan also backed the South African apartheid regime during their wars of aggression in Africa. And, you know, their counterpart in the Middle East, Israel, as they committed war crimes and killed thousands of people in the Lebanon War. All of this while Ronald Reagan called these allies and defenders of freedom. It is no coincidence that Ronald Reagan, the man who killed so many in the name of capitalism and so-called freedom abroad, was also the man responsible for the deaths of 100,000 members of our community here at home, queer people who walked these streets. So this Pride, I want to invite everybody to become proud proponents of peace. Let's become educated on our history. Educated on our history. The rainbow is a symbol of peace and harmony. I like the rainbow flag now. I used to kind of cringe at it. You know, it's like, oh, it's a little bit too loud. It's a little bit too gay. I like the rainbow. Rainbows are beautiful. Rainbows are God's miracles, just like every queer person out here. God's miracles. So let the rainbow be a symbol of peace and harmony, of live and let live. It was never our jobs as Americans to fly around the world and tell everybody how to live their lives. And now it's our job as Americans to stop doing that. Give it up.
Thank you so much.